you know me, but I'll just give you a little bit of background. I'm originally from Assiniboia, where my father farmed and my mother opened and ran the nursing home there. And Jeannie Clive was saying that she was from a family of very strong women. Well, my mother was a force to be reckoned with. She led the very first strike of student nurses in 1943. And she was running a care home and looking after old people well into her 70s. And when she decided that she was done with her life and her kidneys had failed and stuff like that, she just looked at me and said, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore, and 48 hours later she was gone. So, very strong-willed woman, and I think I take after her, as anybody who knows me will probably attest. We moved after moving to BC for a short period of time, we moved to Lakeview in 1975, where I graduated from Sheldon Williams and proceeded on a path that led me into communications and politics. I've worked for advertising agencies, I've owned my own company, and I've worked for the provincial government. I'm currently an independent communications consultant, and 20 years ago I moved back to Lakeview in a house across the street from my parents' original house. The number one point of my, I should also mention, I've given my time to help organize and implement many events around the city, including all 3 of the Grey Cups, the Junos. That was a quick 5 minutes. Sorry. Never goes that fast when I'm running for 5 minutes. The Canada Summer Games and Palabone Sunday, which I chaired for 9 or 10 years. So, the number one point of my platform emphasizes increased need for communications from and accessibility to City Council. Residents shouldn't have to work as hard as they do to get information and to be kept informed on what decisions are being made and why. On your tables, you'll find a copy of my printed piece, which clearly outlines my commitment to returning calls within 24 hours and being approachable and transparent. I intend to also be proactive in initiating opportunities for conversations by holding regular gatherings to discuss issues and ideas with the residents of the ward. All of us likely have many of the same issues in our platforms because they transcend ward boundaries: street repair and maintenance, addressing crime, responsible use of tax dollars, challenges of growth, and changing demographics. And we, of course, have issues that are specific to our wards. In my case, Ward 2 is a composite of long-term established homes in Lakeview and Albert Park and the shiny new Harbour Landing. Demographics are varied, particularly on economic and cultural lines, so the issues and concerns are quite diverse. A concern for 2/3 of Ward 2 is the seeming lack of policies and regulations around infill housing. What can be built? How should the design fit with the neighborhood? What constitutes a design that fits with the neighborhood? Who makes those decisions? When should the neighbors be consulted? And when does that just result in a not in my backyard response, as is coming in some of the alley and laneways, or garden and laneway suites? On the other hand, Harbour Landing wants their own community center. And if you take a look at where the recreation centers are located throughout the city, you'll see that Regina South is underserved. But rather than going into a long litany of problems that we all have, I'd rather talk about what I believe can be achieved in the future. The future Regina can be an economic powerhouse, hosting businesses in the area of service, value-added processing, manufacturing, and research. Jobs and diversification will strengthen us as a city and a province. We must make sure that the division of residential and corporate taxes is logical and fair and doesn't hinder development. Our cultural and artistic communities must be supported and encouraged to further enrich our lives and add to opportunities for entertainment, celebration, and education. We can meet the challenges of environmental protection and sustainability by continuing to encourage recycling and introducing a composting program. We should also support efforts to develop and use alternative forms of energy. And our seniors and people with special needs have to feel included with the removal of barriers to their participation in daily life. This means transportation and physical accommodation consideration and programs that encourage and assist them to get out of their homes. In closing, it's very easy for those of us who have never sat at the council table or run for public office before to criticize those who have come before us. We can always say we'll do it better. We must remember that 4 years from now, we may be called to task on a record of fulfilling the promises we are now making to get votes. Ted Turner said, "Men should be disqualified for public office. Women should run the planet. They are better than us." Now, I don't know if he was just trying to suck up to Jane Fonda as his wife, or whether he believed it, but I do. The evidence is in this room.